Hi, welcome to the Red Booth Show. I'm Kimberly. On this episode, I'm going to be interviewing Ethan SUPLEE and Paul ADELSTEIN about their new show, Chance, on Hulu. So come and join us.
I don't want to get into that. This is not a game.
Question is not, is it a game? Question is, who sets the rules?
Who's the feeder?
I'll take that to mean you're ready to talk numbers.
Hi, Kimberly.
Hey guys, good evening. How's it going?
Quite well, and you?
It's going well. Well, everybody, we're here with Ethan SUPLEE and Paul ADELSTEIN. Thanks so much for being on the Red Booth Show.
Thanks for having us.
So you both co-star in this amazing new show called Chance, the original series on Hulu, and it looks pretty intense.
It is.
So Ethan, you play this character called D in the show, and he's really kind of a vigilante. This is very different from some of the other roles that you've played, like in Cold Mountain and other things like that. I would say it's really a character that kicks butt.
Yeah, it was a really exciting opportunity for me to, be a version of a leading man. Certainly somebody who isn't following anybody else, but taking care of business himself was really, really a big opportunity.
Well, you definitely command the screen. And I have to ask you, by the way, is that tomahawk scene real?
Well, no, here's the thing. I was able to throw the tomahawk and have it land in a wall, but they wanted me to throw it into a very narrow post from a decent distance. Had that been a flat wall, it would have been real, but I don't think I could have hit a target that narrow for real.
Well, it's pretty amazing how that looks and how it comes across on the screen.
Hey, let me ask you, Dr. Chance, are you a married man?
Divorcing.
Children?
I have a daughter, yeah.
I don't envy you that. You know, it's rough out there, is all I'm trying to say. I mean, we're a predatory species, Doctor. I mean, that's not what they teach you in the hallowed halls on campus, and as a cop, it's not what I'd say to the press, but it's the truth. I mean, that's the world I deal with every day, right? And next time we coincide like this, that's on you.
So, Paul, you play the homicide detective, Mr. Raymond Blackstone, right?
Yeah, he doesn't like that Hugh Laurie's character, Dr. Chance, has gotten kind of crossed the line professionally with Blackstone's wife, played by Gretchen Mol. And my character is a homicide detective, but he operates kind of on both sides of the law, and he is not afraid to use the power that he has as a homicide detective and all those resources to kind of fight for his own territory. And so he kind of makes Hugh's life a living hell for a little while.
He definitely seems to use the power of the police station. In fact, I think that your characters pretty much play opposite each other.
I think that's right. I think it's about how Hugh's character gets pushed kind of into these dark recesses of society, and Ethan's character lives off the grid and gets things done his way. Blackstone lives obviously very much within the system, but also gets things done his way. And, Chance is kind of pulled between those two things.
It really is such a great story. I actually wanted to ask you guys, what attracted you to this show when it was pitched to you?
The exciting thing nowadays is a platform like Hulu will allow you to make something that doesn't necessarily fit the confines of a standard network television show. So they allow it to breathe, they allow it to take its time. It unfolds in such an interesting way, and it's unlike anything I'd ever seen before.
That's very cool. Like, what kind of differences? Can you explain that a little?
Well, for instance, the Chance is based on a novel of the same name. And if you were going to make a movie out of it, it would be 90 minutes or 2 hours. And that wouldn't really do it justice. So being able to tell the story of the novel in 10 hours as opposed to 2 hours, 1 hour at a time, really allows you to be able to spend the time with the characters and really feel the plot twists that are coming. And it's a noir genre that kind of wants atmosphere around it and time to really give you that sense of what's going on and where this character is kind of making wrong turns. And by spreading it out in that way, and by Hulu giving the resources for the story to be told that way, it really allows the story to be the best version of itself.
Yeah, and further to that, I don't think you actually really know who everybody is until the end of the last episode.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, you get a sense of how they're going to behave, but things are being revealed very, very slowly. And I think in a typical television show, in the pilot episode, you've got to know everything about everybody immediately.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. I definitely noticed that about this series. And I would say you kind of really get to know what you're dealing with in the last episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, there are twists and turns beyond that even. I don't think you've seen anything that's untrue. Like, nothing's going to be contradicted, but
right.
Right up until the last episode, stuff is being revealed that allows you to see everything that's happened from a different perspective.
Very cool. Well, what do we have to look forward to in the future of Chance? Can you guys give us any hints?
They are still figuring that out in a locked room.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I really hope everybody goes and checks out Chance, the new show on Hulu. It is very much shot like a movie, actually. It's got an amazing soundtrack as well, and the way that San Francisco looks is just gorgeous. It's really quite impressive. Well, I wanted to ask you guys about some of your other projects as well. Ethan, you have this new Twin Peaks coming up. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Here's what I can say. I can say that I've heard that I'm in the new Twin Peaks, and I can say that it has been reported that I'm in the new Twin Peaks. But I can also say I've heard that many actors in the new Twin Peaks had to sign NDAs. And so I will have to say, I don't know if I'm in the new Twin Peaks.
That's the most David Lynch answer I think you could possibly have given.
Well, this is a very iconic story, and I'm really curious to see how they're going to be doing it.
I will say that I am such a big David Lynch fan that if they asked me to walk across the street in the background, I would do it.
That's very exciting. And also, you're in the new movie Deepwater Horizon that just came out.
Yes, that I was definitely in.
Well, cool. Would you like to tell us a bit about what it was like being on the movie?
That was a fascinating thing. You know, going into it, I've played a real person a few times in Remember the Titans. The character I played was based on an actual guy named Louis Lastic, so he was a real guy. And going into Deepwater Horizon, you know, you kind of want to go in and create the character for yourself. And on day 2 of filming the character I'm playing, his name was Jason Anderson. Jason's wife came by the set, and we got to talk about him and what a great guy he was, and it kind of upped the stakes quite a bit for me in honoring this guy, this really sweet, kind family man, Jason Anderson, because he lost his life on that rig, and it really opened my eyes to not only am I playing this guy, but he has a family, he has kids, he has parents, he has a wife, and I really had to honor his memory for them.
Wow, that is really amazing.
Yeah.
It's such a huge responsibility, and I think it's really cool that you were a part of telling that story.
Yeah, me too.
And Paul, you not only act in the new show Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce, but you also write and produce it. Is that right?
Yes, we are on episode 8 of 10, and I'm going up next week to direct episode 9, and that should be on the air in February.
That's amazing. So is this partially your creation then?
Yeah, I co-created it with a writer named Adam Brooks, and we're the executive producers. It's about a group of con artists, and it's about someone who marries people, marries men and women, both, takes their money and disappears, and it's about the people that she's burned, and they kind of come together to go and find her, and they have to become con artists along the way.
Well, it's really exciting that you've been doing that and creating that show. And also, you have Prison Break coming up too.
Yeah, the Prison Break, I don't think it's called a reboot, but whatever you call when they add 10 or 12 more episodes, and that should be out in January sometime. It was really fun to go back and revisit a character I did a while ago.
Well, that's fantastic. I know there's going to be a lot of people looking forward to that. And I hope everybody gets onto Hulu and checks out Chance, the new season 1 that is online right now. And it's been so great talking with you guys. Thanks so much for being on the show.
You too,
Thanks,
Kimberly.
Kimberly.
Thank you.
Hi, Kimberly.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
I'm happy to be here.
Well, everyone, we are here with the lovely actress Anna Camp, and she is playing the amazing role of Jane Hollander in the new show Good Girls Revolt.
Yes, that is correct.
And this show actually touches on a lot of important topics: career, love life, politics, discrimination. Was there a certain angle about it that really attracted you to it?
Yeah, absolutely. When I got sent the script, it was really refreshing because there were about 5 really great female roles, and that is something very rare when I read a script. There's usually about 2 at the most complex, well thought out women roles, and the rest are males. And I'm always like, why can't I play that guy, who jumping out of the plane or whatever it may be. So yeah, that's the main reason it attracted me, is because it was a female based show with really complex characters.
B, you remember Jane?
Of course. I knew Jane when she had braces on her teeth and Gordie Hollander had a full head of hair.
It is so nice to see you again, Mrs. Burkhart.
Well, Jane was an excellent recommendation on your part. She's kind of our head researcher around here. Jane, maybe you can give B a little tour of the place before lunch.
Well, that would be nice. It's been a while. I'd love to revisit how the sausages are made around here.
Well, I would love to show you around the sausage factory. May I carry this for you?
Thank you.
This show is based on a true story about a lawsuit that occurred for discrimination, and there was a book written about it. And how do you think that this relates to present-day women's rights?
Yes, you're right. It's inspired by the book that Lynn Povich wrote called Good Girls Revolt, about this first sexual discrimination lawsuit that happened when a group of females were only allowed to be researchers. They could never be promoted. They could never get raises. They could never be reporters or actual journalists. And they got together and realized that the treatment that they were receiving was actually illegal. And they got together and sued, which is wonderful. I think that unfortunately and fortunately, this show is incredibly relevant today. Women are still getting paid less than men. There are still way more jobs taken by men in every workforce. We almost had a female president. We were very close to that happening. It didn't quite happen, but we still have a long ways to go. And in 1969 really was not that long ago, to be honest. My parents were obviously there, and they watched the show, and they say that it is insanely timely. So there's still a lot of sexual discrimination going on, and I hope that people watch the show and start having conversations and realize that not that much has changed and that we do have a long way to go, but it takes people standing up and speaking up.
Where'd you go to college, Jane?
Bryn Mawr.
Did you work for the newspaper there?
I was the editor.
Okay, so do you ever feel like you want something more from working here, like to be able to grow?
Well, I don't plan on being here much longer. I have a boyfriend.
Oh, you've never mentioned him.
Church and state, keep it separate.
Even so, Jane, you're so good at your job.
I'm not a career girl, Patty.
There is still somewhat of a expectation of women to wear more of the secretarial roles in the workplace, but obviously we've made a lot of strides, and I do think that telling stories like this is what helps to make a difference.
Yeah.
Would you say that your character is the good girl in the story?
Yeah, I'd say that she's probably one of the most good of the good girls to start out with. Jane is the top researcher. She is never wants to question. She sort of knows her place. She follows her parents' rules, and then she starts to realize that maybe she is fulfilled by her career and that that's okay. And she starts to talk with the other women and realize that there are a lot of changes that need to happen, and that she deserves so much more credit for all of the work that she's been doing. So there's definitely she's a very strong, smart, passionate person, and she starts off you know, not really feeling that she deserves much more. And throughout the show, we really get to see her grow and change because of the other women, because they all start questioning together.
In addition to the fantastic female perspective of this show, there's also the newsroom aspect of it. Do you think that this is an accurate depiction of how things worked?
You know, I've never worked in a newsroom. I don't know, but we've had a lot of great response from journalists saying that, yeah, that still happens today. Like, there's still a lot of sexual harassment that goes on in a newsroom. I was just in DC doing a couple events, and a woman who did my hair and makeup used to work for CNN, and she was saying that, yeah, this would happen where she would be sitting doing makeup on a female journalist, and she would be so upset because all of the guys who were working would get the good stories still, and they were fighting still to this day to get those good stories that they really wanted. So yeah, I think that it's still happening today. I've never been actually in a newsroom, but I would like to think that our show really pays attention to those details and gets it right.
Yeah, well, it's definitely spotlighting that, so I think that's really good. What was your favorite scene to play in season 1?
My gosh, my favorite scenes to play. I really loved the finale. I really loved when my character Jane got to stand up to her father, who she was really under his thumb a lot of her life, and he wasn't in support of her even working at the magazine, and she goes over to their house and she stands up to him and says that she's going to sue and that she wants to be like an amazing journalist in the future, and it's something that's very hard for her to admit, but for my character it's the most empowering moment of the whole season for her, I think, and it's really the turning point for where she finds her voice.
Oh, my dad is gonna be livid.
You stood up your dad?
Well, it was a job interview. Since I'm not marrying Chad, Daddy thinks I need to work somewhere with more appropriate men. What do you think? I love my job.
Jane? Are you becoming a career girl?
Maybe I always was.
Hey, everybody! Jane Hollander is a career girl! Jane! I'm a career girl! Woo! News of the Week is the best magazine! I love my job! It's my birthday!
And I am not having a white wedding!
Whoa, what?
Your outfits and your hair and makeup on the show are just amazing, I have to say.
Thank you so much. It takes like 2.5 hours every morning in a hair and makeup trailer, but it's totally worth it. We come out going, oh my God, everybody always squeals at everything that everyone is wearing, and they want that, and I want to wear this, and it's kind of like Christmas every morning on set when it comes to that stuff.
There's definitely a lot of elaborate hairdos that girls used to do at that time. I can't believe what they used to pull off.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some of your other projects too. I know that a lot of people fell in love with you as an actress when you played Sarah Newland in True Blood.
Yeah.
Myself included.
Thanks.
And you also have been in a lot of shows since then as well, just to name a few. Mad Men, The Good Wife, The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Would you like to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I had the most fun I think I've ever had on set on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Just there acting with Jane Krakowski, who is like just a fantastic comedian, and having Tina Fey, you know, behind the camera go bigger, you can't go too big. And I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna explode, like really go even more. But it was wonderful. It's wonderful to play these crazy, uptight, I think Jacqueline, the character that or Deidre, excuse me, the character that I played on Unbreakable was by far the craziest and most tightly wound woman I've ever gotten to play. But those people who are so frayed and so frazzled and like who are going crazy, or I have the most fun playing them. So I'm hoping that maybe Jane will have some sort of like revolutionary, like crazy breakdown in season 2 of Good Girls. We'll see.
I guess we'll have to look forward to next season to see what happens. I noticed that you tend to play a lot of meaningful roles, and I wanted to ask, do you have certain principles that you go by when you're looking for parts?
You know, it's all about the role for me. I would do anything as long as the character and role is a challenge and complex and cool. I've been on a lot of girl power shows. I'm happy that Pitch Perfect inspired so many young women, and I hope that those same young women come and watch Good Girls.
Definitely. It is streaming live now on Amazon Prime. And I just want to say thank you for being on the Red Booth Show. It's been great talking with you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Well, thanks everybody for watching the Red Booth Show, and we are on every Saturday night at midnight. So catch us next time.